Shaq and LeBron may have just had one of the most intense altercations the NBA has seen in years, and somehow, it all happened out of sight, deep in the back tunnels of Ball Arena. What makes it even crazier is that the league appears to be doing everything it can to keep this situation under wraps. After the Lakers lost to the Nuggets on March 5, things didn't end at the final buzzer. According to multiple insiders, Shaquille O'Neal completely lost his temper and confronted LeBron James in the tunnel. What started as a heated exchange quickly escalated into something much more serious. Sources claim the situation got so intense that security and several staff members had to physically step in and restrain Shaq before things got completely out of control. This wasn't just trash talk, this was personal. But to understand why things reached that point, you have to look at what happened during the game itself. On the surface, the stats look impressive. LeBron broke the all-time field goals record, surpassing 15,800 career buckets, a milestone that would normally dominate headlines. But if you actually watched the game, you know the full story is very different. By the fourth quarter, the Lakers were trailing 110-106 with just a few minutes left. This is typically the moment where legends rise. Think about players like Kobe Bryant. This is where the so-called Mamba mentality takes over, where a leader carries the team through pressure. Instead, what followed became one of the most controversial sequences of LeBron's recent career. He drove into the paint against Nikola Jokic, scored a layup, and then suddenly collapsed to the floor. He stayed down for an entire possession, forcing the Lakers to defend 4-on-5 while the Nuggets easily capitalized with a transition bucket. The referee took one look and called it exactly what it was: marginal contact. No foul. And here's where things started to raise eyebrows. Things escalated further when Shaq allegedly called him a coward for avoiding pressure in crucial moments. At that point, words were no longer enough. Shaq reportedly lunged forward, and for a brief moment, it looked like the situation could turn physical before security stepped in and separated them. As he was being pulled away, Shaq reportedly delivered one final message: if you're not willing to compete at the highest level anymore, then it's time to walk away. This wasn't just an argument between two individuals, it was a clash of eras. Shaq represents a time when the NBA was defined by physicality, toughness, and endurance. A time when players fought through injuries and contact without hesitation. LeBron, on the other hand, represents the modern era, an era built on efficiency, longevity, and strategic load management. And that contrast is exactly what makes this situation so explosive. The irony is hard to ignore. On the same night LeBron broke a historic record previously held by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, his performance raised questions about his commitment to winning. When you dig into the numbers, the narrative becomes even more complicated. The Lakers have shown a strong record even when LeBron is absent, and certain lineups featuring Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves have performed efficiently without him. In some cases, adding LeBron into those combinations has resulted in a noticeable drop in net rating. Defensively, the team has also struggled during his minutes, particularly in transition, where opponents have consistently taken advantage. Even analysts like Brian Windhorst have acknowledged that the team's performance can vary significantly depending on rotations.
Is it bad luck, or is it timing? From ankle issues in past seasons to more recent concerns, the pattern has been widely discussed among fans and media alike. Even voices around the league have weighed in. Steve Kerr once pointed out that the league has, at times, rewarded exaggerated contacts, something that continues to shape how the game is played today. Meanwhile, former players have become increasingly vocal. Kevin Garnett openly criticized what he sees as a lack of accountability and toughness in modern leadership.
But when LeBron doesn't play and Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic do, the Lakers are a better team.
At this point, the conversation shifts from emotion to reality. These aren't just opinions anymore. These are patterns supported by data. As LeBron enters the later stages of his career, questions about fit and impact are becoming harder to ignore. Can a 40-plus-year-old player truly anchor a fast-paced modern system? More importantly, should he? Over the past few years, critics have pointed out a recurring pattern, particularly during high-pressure stretches late in the season. Multiple instances of injuries appearing at critical moments have led some to question whether these exits are coincidental or strategic.
Ooh. Did he get him? I couldn't see.
Is it bad luck, or is it timing? From ankle issues in past seasons to more recent concerns, The pattern has been widely discussed among fans and media alike. Even voices around the league have weighed in. Steve Kerr once pointed out that the league has, at times, rewarded exaggerated contacts, something that continues to shape how the game is played today. Meanwhile, former players have become increasingly vocal. Kevin Garnett openly criticized what he sees as a lack of accountability and toughness in modern leadership.
If you don't want to, you don't have to. Who's the most overrated player in the NBA right now?
Overrated? I'll probably say LeBron right now. Overrated.
He's getting a little old.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like he's overrated right now.
His isn't just criticism, it's a generational divide. Even younger players are beginning to show where their inspirations lie. Rising prospects like Cooper Flagg have openly spoken about modeling their game after past legends rather than current stars. That says a lot about perception.
I mean, I think this should be his last year here.
Not in the NBA, just here.
No, just here.
Okay.
You know, I really.
You don't got to go home, but you got to go.
Yeah, you know, it's Morris Day. You know what I'm saying?
That's
you don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here.
When the next generation looks backward instead of forward, what does that say about the present? Behind the scenes, reports suggest that internal pressure within the Lakers organization may be building. There are whispers that key figures connected to the franchise's legacy are pushing for major changes. Even former coach Byron Scott has hinted that it might be time for a transition.
So now the question becomes unavoidable. Is this the beginning of the end? The Denver incident may go down as more than just a bad night. It could be remembered as the moment everything shifted, the point where legacy, performance, and perception all collided. After more than 2 decades in the league, LeBron's career is now facing one of its most defining chapters. Because in the end, numbers can tell one story, but moments like these tell another. And now the real question remains. Is this still greatness, or is it something else entirely? White Right Pointing Backhand Index. Subscribe to Hoop Radar for the latest NBA news, reactions, and basketball updates.